as we get ready here for match play between Westminster and Carnegie Mellon from the Wiegand Gymnasium, as they will rattle through the starting lineups. Starters for Westminster are as goes: Rachel Brady, Ava Feringer, Shelby Rambo, Lauren Lampus, Saley Grinnan, Rihanna Daniels, and Malia Duffy, all rounding out the starting squad for Westminster. Malia Duffy, a junior libero out of North Allegheny High School, part of a prominent program there. I was actually able to see her during her high school days just a few years back. Lauren Lampus, another WPIAL product out of Sarver, Pennsylvania, Freeport High School, also one of the leaders of this team. But other than that, the experience is lacking for the Titans in this matchup.
Yeah, again, no seniors on this team, a lot of freshmen, a handful of juniors. Those are the ones that are going to need to step up here, and it's uncharted waters for this program to not have the success that they're used to. But it takes these kind of tough years in order to rewrite the ship and sail away on the path of greatness once again. It's going to be these young women that are going to learn from this tumultuous season that's going to get them back to where they were. And I have a lot of confidence in their coaching staff. And we talk about Carnegie Mellon and how much youth that they have that's able to come in and contribute. Abby Chen was a tremendous freshman last year. You have Isabella Sierra along with Elizabeth Schlemmer, both freshmen that are getting a lot of playing time here. So they have some youth on their end, and both are extremely solid.
Both teams getting their starting lineups announced and going through the ceremonial high five before they get started here. The final matchup of this Carnegie Mellon Quad, which is a tournament that's hosted every year by the CMU. And in volleyball fashion, the cheers erupt from both sides as both teams get hyped up for this matchup here on the Carnegie Mellon Athletics website. CMU Athletics would like to thank its corporate partners, BSN Sports, Doubletree by Hilton Hotel and Suites Pittsburgh Downtown, Moe's Southwest Grill, Panera Bread, Penn Station, and Pizza Parma. You can check out this website for special offerings from our partners. First set action just about to get underway here at the Wiegand Gymnasium.
And keep an eye on the freshman Elizabeth Schlemmer coming into this one, leading the team in kills. We also highlighted Stella Gann. Really can set up her teammates well. 8th all-time in Carnegie Mellon history for assists. And Jane Dean, the 6'2" junior, keep an eye on her as well. She had a fantastic match yesterday against Marietta.
Rihanna Daniels, the junior setter, will start things off for Westminster in this first set. Big serve up and good handle by the front line from the Titans to continue this sequence early on in this matchup. Good dig from Raychard. Back to her, bouncing off a couple of hands right at the net. Westminster's attempt almost falls to the floor. It's saved by CMU, but pushed out of bounds off the hands of Isabella Sierra. The Titans with a 1-0 lead.
It looked like Sierra was unsure as to which hand she wanted to hit that one with. Maybe thought that was going to go behind her. And just didn't get enough on it when she did get a piece of it. It went far out of play.
Service error from Daniels, the junior out of Hermitage, PA, Hickory High School. And that sends the ball across the net to Stella Gann. We mentioned she's now 8th all-time in Carnegie Mellon volleyball history in assists, with over 1,700 in her spectacular career. She gets this one started in a 1-1 contest. Sent to the front line. Daniels sets it up for her teammate, and a beautiful dig from Abby Chen. Meanwhile, a long one that falls right before the end line off the hands of the freshman Elizabeth Schlemmer, who has looked fantastic in early season play, and really providing a spark in her first season. Daniels saves this one, floated over the net. 2-1 lead for CMU. Back to Raychard, who blasted into the front line, handled well and swept across. Rihanna Daniels comes up with a point. We're tied at 2. Ball sent to the hands of Rachel Brady, the freshman outside hitter from Columbus, Pennsylvania, out of Corey High School. Dug out by the back line. It was Schlemmer, but it's not returned as Bella Woodard, the freshman out of Houston, Texas, has some trouble there on the far corner handling the dig. Just like that, 3-2 Titans, and they continue to serve. Schlemmer digs it out. Yan leaving it for Raychard, who blasts it into a libero on the other side, and it falls for a point. Too hard off the hands of Malia Duffy.
Well, Raychard, savvy vet, the junior. She has a powerful right-handed shot, doesn't she?
And she's up to serve. Tips off the antenna. Point for Westminster.
Oh, I would
4-3.
say, Jared, that was one of the issues they had yesterday is, the service errors. They piled up. If that's one thing they want to fix, it's that. I remember them having some issues with that last year as well.
St. Lee Grinnan serving. Yan leaves it for Woodard. Dug out by Daniels. And now sent to the front. And it falls. Perfect placement off the hands of Ava Feringer, a sophomore out of Cranberry High School.
Yeah, that one kind of died. It did look pretty strong. Raychard elected not to go and compete for that.
And Grinnan continues to serve, up 5-3. Big blast, too far. Point for the Titans as this one from Schlemmer just couldn't catch the back line.
I wish we had a camera right there. That one was close.
Need the tennis replay.
Yeah, right?
You know, if you could do it in that sport, you could do it in pretty much any sport. This one's dug out. Raychard and then sent across in a beautiful feed from Isabella Sierra up over the net.
That's what this team does so well. Just finds that open space. Almost a no-look. Really catches the opposing team off guard. And they just execute it so perfectly.
Junior Isabel Shepard into serve for CMU. Dug out. Just tipped over the net. Some collision on the CMU side. Handled well, though, and Daniels able to dig it out. It's punched across. Point going to the Tartans on the double hit. From Rachel Brady. Westminster with an early 6-5 lead. CMU still to serving. Daniels sets it up for a teammate. Shepard and Yan working. This one off of Schlemmer's hands and down for a point. We're tied at 6.
Trying that pancake dig is Lampus. Couldn't get anything on it.
Shepard, the middle blocker, out of San Francisco, California. Will get an ace on this one. No return from Westminster, and CMU with a 7-6 lead. Shepard lofting it. Duffy handles. Quick flip over the net, but it's quickly returned. Front line right there, putting Jane Dean. This one blasted down from Bella Woodard. And an 8-6 lead for CMU.
Well, yesterday it was Woodard and Dean, an absolute force, a presence at the net on that right side, a handful of blocks for each of them. It's tough to get past that 6'2" Dean, and Woodard, great athleticism.
Big drive and a big point coming off the hands of Ava Feringer, the sophomore for Westminster, brings it back within 1, 8-7. Angie Nardone checking into the game, the freshman setter out of Elwood City, Pennsylvania. Another WPIAL product on the floor for the Titans. Handled by the back line. Yan setting up Schlemmer. Duffy digs it out, sent far side. A little bit of an off-speed hit from Westminster, and it leaves it for Jane Dean, who tucks it in right below the end line for the point.
That was Malia Duffy, who is a libero, came up. That's a little bit too far as she left a lot of room on that back right corner. Jane Dean able to find that space.
Duffy handling this time. Huge block in front. Schlemmer and Dean there for another point.
Yeah, Schlemmer's not the tallest. Standing in at about 5'8", but she has a great presence there at the net. Her and Dean work together.
Almost a same exact play. But this time Westminster handles. Dean, a little bit of a mishit, goes into the net. Point to Westminster.
And her team chuckles knowing that that typically doesn't happen for her. Sure, she wants that one back. Just a little awkward.
Leaves it for Lauren Lampus, the junior outside hitter out of Freeport High School. Dean blasting off of Lampus's hands. Another point.
Well, Lampus, great attempt. Diving to try to get a dig, pop it up to her teammate, but just another powerful shot by the Tartans.
Westminster handles the serve too far. Point for CMU. They're up 12-8 in the first set. Elizabeth Schlemmer continues to serve. Duffy digs deep. And a drive that's handled by Schlemmer. Yan sets up Raychard. And her drive off of Duffy's hands too hard. Point to the Tartans.
As you mentioned, the Tartans coming away victorious yesterday against Marietta to get a win here against Grove City.
Duffy digs out the serve. This one, man, if they probably would have let it go, it was probably going way over the end line. Instead, Schlemmer hits it off her hand, and the point goes to Westminster. That leaves it for Duffy. Another block in front, just handled by Westminster. Great teamwork there as this drive from Raychard is too far. Point for CMU.
Well, sprawling out there is Duffy again. You got to love the effort, but that would have been an absolute miracle if she would have gotten to that one.
The serve from Abby Chen did hit off the net, and she diving to dig this one out. Schlemmer lofts it over the net. Raychard, one-handed hit. Duffy leaves it for a teammate. Blasted off of a block in front. Dean just trying to pat it over. Dug out. Schlemmer, backline handles. Duffy and company there. Lampus's hit was handled initially. 4 hits for Westminster, and the point goes to the Tartans. And a timeout called by Tammy Swearingen and the Westminster Titans. And sort of what you've expected out of the CMU team to start. Sweeping Marietta 3-0 yesterday, and earlier today, a 3-0 sweep of Grove City. This is now their third and final match of the Carnegie Mellon Quad.
Well, Carnegie Mellon, as I was kind of mentioning before, you know, they had those 2 victories, but sometimes they do start off a little bit slow. In that contest against Marietta, they had the first and the third set where they did not start off very well, but they were able to rally behind. It seems like today, much different story, as that one's just in.
Big ace for Abby Chen.
Much different story today as they're starting off on fire against a Westminster team that has certainly been struggling this year.
Up 16-9, Chen continues to serve. Brady hits it. She'll get another chance. Off of the block in front. Yan leaves it, and Raychard finishes. Does she have a nasty right hook from the near side?
Yeah, and again, she's not one of the tallest on the team, but she just has so much power behind that right-handed shot.
This one too far, service error gives the point to Westminster.
And Raychard has great accuracy as well. I mean, Dean, her, and Yan, you know, they just put it exactly where they want it. They have enough speed on it. It really is hard to defend.
Big tip over, point scored for the Tartans. Isabella Sierra will be credited with that. Sierra standing at 6'2". Her and Jane Dean providing the height in the front for this team. As is Bella Woodard, also at 6'2". And an ace for CMU makes it 19-10 in the first set. Stella Yan, senior from Texas. Back to serve once again. And an ace. Miss hit from Ava Feringer. Saved by Chen and company and return. Quick tip, Raychard there. Thrown across, and this one will fall. 19-11 point for the Titans.
Well, a powerful shot there from Westminster. Fought off nicely by Chen. Great support on the back end. They were able to volley for a little bit, and then Westminster polishes it off. They certainly deserve that one.
Big blast. Handled, rolls up over the net. Point for Westminster.
Hey, listen, you got to get a little bit of luck in there, too. That one rolled about half a second there on the top of the net. Fell in. They got lucky. But sometimes you need a little bit of that.
Just saving it. 19-12. Schlemmer. Duffy was there. Big block down. Return, but out. Point to CMU. And it's 20-12. Laura Raychard out of Guaynabo, Puerto Rico. Back to serve. But not before a timeout call. Both teams will head to the bench. Well, Rob, 21-12 advantage for CMU in set number one. What have you liked so far?
I thought that Carnegie Mellon has been extremely thorough. They've executed at a high level what they want to happen. They're dictating the pace right now, and they're in control. We've had a few points go in favor of Westminster. They're starting to kind of claw their way a little bit here in this first set, but you can clearly see one team has a little bit more experience than the other. That is pretty evident so far in this one.
Raychard and the Tartans with a 21-12 advantage. Sent to serve here in set one. Raychard puts it in the air. Duffy dinks it out. Sent to the front line and handled by Chen. Woodard, far side. Drive is dug out from Rachel Brady. Meanwhile, Chen there on the return. And Raychard will offset high into the air. Big drive, out of bounds, point to the Tartans.
So that was Saley Grinnan, the junior, who had a lot of heat behind that shot. Just missed, maybe a few inches past the line.
More serving for Raychard. Almost mishit, but handled well. Battle ensues in the front of the net. Duffy diving to save it, and it's unreturnable.
Lampus couldn't get it over. Duffy with a great save there to keep that one alive for her squad. Couldn't turn into points.
23-12 advantage, CMU. Duffy on the back line. To Daniels, dug out by Chen. Now again, Woodard with a blast. Daniels there to stop it, but a point to CMU on the double hit. Trying to end this set here is Laura Raychard. Chen to Yan. And the push down from Isabella Sierra into the net. So the serve heads back to Saley Grinnan. And the Titans with a 24-13 deficit. Dug out. Raychard was there. And this out of bounds. Set number one goes to CMU by the score of 25-13. So CMU has yet to lose a set in this Carnegie Mellon quad after going in straight sets against Marietta yesterday, Grove City this morning, and taking set number one, 25-13 from Westminster.
That's a lot of volleyball this weekend for the Tartans and for Marietta as well, competing yesterday and then today. And we're not seeing, you would think maybe at this point, maybe some fatigue might be kind of creeping in, but it does not look that way for the Tartans. They seem fresh, ready to go. And it's pretty easy to kind of keep that momentum going, especially if you've won in 6 sets in the past 2, So, having swept both Marietta and Grove City, it's not like you have to do a lot there, but you did have to compete for those 6 sets, and they were successful in all of them. It was that second one in Marietta yesterday that was really close. Carnegie Mellon won 27-25 in that one. And for those of you who are watching today that maybe saw it yesterday, that was a very impressive set for both teams. It really, honestly, could have gone either way towards the end. It was flipping the momentum. It wouldn't stick. There was tons of lead changes, and both benches were fired up. Looked like Marietta had a chance to finish it, but they just hit it out, barely. And Carnegie Mellon was able to come back in that set and win it and then finish it off in the third. So we've had some extremely exciting volleyball played despite the clean sweep from both Grove City and Marietta.
Stella Yan with 10 assists in that first set. And what was a pretty impressive victory. 4 digs for Mindy Lai, about 8 digs for Abby Chen. She was doing some hard work in the back line as well. CMU taking care of business in set 1 with 3 team blocks as well in the front of the net, which is always exciting to see. That front line for CMU, one of their big strong points. But really, if you go through this lineup, it's a pretty tough team to play against. And that's saying something because they're not even at the top of their own conference.
No, the UAA has a lot of talented teams. We saw that in the action before Marietta yesterday against NYU and WashU, both ranked nationally at the time. NYU was number 6, and at the time WashU was number 20. So those are some tough competition in your own conference, but whenever they branch out, and we saw the play yesterday against an OAC foe in Marietta, and then today against a PAC foe, they look dominant. I mean, they really look strong, so that just speaks to the level of excellence by way of play here in women's volleyball in the UAA.
Check out the DoubleTree by Hilton Hotel and Suites Pittsburgh downtown for your next conference or hotel stay in Pittsburgh. The DoubleTree by Hilton Hotel and Suites Pittsburgh downtown, a proud corporate partner of Carnegie Mellon Athletics. Horn sounds, and we're just about underway in set number 2 in the final match of the Carnegie Mellon Quad on a Saturday afternoon in September. Rob McKinney and Jared Barton with you. A 25-13 set victory for the Tartans in set 1. They're sporting the Cardinal jerseys with white numbers and black trim. Libero in a black uniform with red numbers and white trim. Westminster in the road navy uniforms with gray numbers and white trim.
Definitely confused me for Marietta whenever we came in. Those two teams exactly same colors. And
yep, very close in color schemes. And we are underway in set 2. Duffy with a dig on the far side. This one into the net will go to CMU to take a 1-0 lead early.
I guess you could say the same for CMU and Grove City. Similar
Very
color.
similar.
I think a little darker red for Carnegie Mellon, and obviously they have that black element. Grove City more red and white.
Daniels working this one into the net as well. Ava Feringer couldn't handle.
I think from the game that was just before this one, which saw Marietta and Grove City, and you were to walking across this and looking in, you would probably think it was the same game.
Daniels setting it up for a teammate on the far side. It's dug out well. Blast from Raychard. Also handled. This one tipped over. Antenna was hit in the process, and it is another point for CMU.
And we do have an individual tying the shoe, and that is Stella Yan. Got to make sure that's good. We don't want to trip and fall here.
Avani Shashia into the game for the first time for the Tartans in this matchup against Westminster. Yan still serving. They say it's in. Ace right on the line.
Well, that one was certainly close. Westminster not happy about that one.
Makes it 4-0. Very, very close, but you do have officials on the corners, and it was right in his corner. So if anybody's going to see it, it's him. Raychard hits it, point to Westminster on the double hit.
I give them credit for seeing that. I mean, I know we have a pretty good vantage point, but sometimes I miss that. I mean, I hear the whistle, but I mean, do you identify that immediately?
It's very tough. If you're not right there on the floor, you may miss that. Another point for Westminster, and they're back into it, cutting the lead in half, 4-2.
Yeah, that one just snuck in.
Shashia digs it out. Schlemmer with a drive that's handled well. Turning shot blocked back down from Sierra. Chen gets a hand on it, as does Yan. Daniels in front, leaves it. Team block successful. One of the best sequences of the afternoon already. And the point will go to CMU after the miss hit that's sent out of bounds off the hands of Rachel Brady.
Yeah. Knocked off a water bottle and a mic.
Causing
does that count for
mass
something?
chaos
Yeah.
at the scorer's
Destruction
table.
points?
Yeah. All well, though. They say this one hits the line right along the near sideline. Point for Westminster. It's 5-3. And Saley Grinnan will serve. Raychard digs it out. As Yan leaving it for Shashia. Now Sierra. Back to Yan and Shashia. Her drive off the double block. Point to the Tartans after it falls out of bounds.
And then we had a speaker get hit. I mean, we're getting dangerous over there.
Good thing we're up here.
Scores table.
I don't want to get hit with a volleyball.
We have a great
almost
vantage point up here.
Almost happened in the warm-ups.
Oh, yeah.
So we don't need that.
Yeah.
Definitely don't want to get hit.
No.
Daniels leaving it for a teammate. This one hit up. Raychard just keeps it alive. It's practically in her bench. Shashia calls it off. The dig, the drive, too far. Point to Westminster. This one was off the hands of Kai Herkenrother, who's into the game for the first time this afternoon.
Yeah, the freshman didn't see too much action in the Marietta contest, but certainly a talented freshman among the list of talented freshmen on this team.
Push hit by Westminster, and if you will leave that one go, most likely is a point for the Titans. Instead, it's off Rachel Brady's hand and out. 7-4 CMU. Schlemmer will serve. Dug out from the back line. Duffy leaves it for a teammate. Shashia gets out of the way. Yan to Herkenrother. Dig from Schlemmer. Push Shashia. Back line handles for Westminster. Quick tip. Kept alive. Chen returns. Left a push. Chen there to dig it out. Yan, Schlemmer. Just catches the end line. It's in for a big point.
Yeah, these officials, they're being tested today. Those ones are close on the line.
Yes, they are. They're on the money. Lead doubled for CMU, 8-4. Raychard leaves it for Yan, then Shashia out of bounds. Point to Westminster. In an 8-5 contest. Lauren Lampus dug out from Schlemmer, but nobody home in the front of the net.
Herkenrother and Yan were on that left side, then came near side. That was a good dig by Schlemmer, but nobody home there on that left side.
8-6 advantage CMU. This one hits off the net and is unreturnable. Ace for the Titans.
And now the Titans going on a little bit of a run here.
Lampus putting in the hard work to bring it within one, 8-7.
It's the first time we've seen them have some momentum in this one.
Chen, Shashia, drive, dug out. There's Raychard, and this one falls for a CMU point. Back up by 2, it's 9-7. And Avani Shashia. Ace hits off of Duffy and may have caught Rachel Brainy as well.
And that's Shashia with the ace. Really good junior out of Cincinnati, Ohio.
Another ace, back-to-back for Shashia.
And she's making it count with the bench over there celebrating.
CMU up 11-7. Kept alive. Shashia the dig. Yan sets it up for Raychard, and she catches the sideline.
Man, she is accurate. We talk about the power, but where she wants that ball to go is where it goes.
12-7, some pinpoint accuracy from Laura Raychard.
She just snuck that in.
This one pushed over, handled by CMU. The dump from Stella Yan returned. Herkenrother gets in on the action. Big drive in.
They're saying it might have been tipped by Carnegie Mellon.
That's what it looks like. I was going to say, because it did not look like it was in.
No.
They say it's off of a Tartan player, and Duffy will serve. Dug out, Raychard there. Yan pushes over the net. Duffy back to a teammate far side. Yan there, as is Chen. Shashia to the back line, dug out by Duffy. And a big point. The drive and kill off the hands of Rachel Brady.
It looked like Chen was right there, and that ball just died. That was like a sinker in baseball. Tough one defensively for Chen.
Both players going at it. That was Raychard and Chen. Handled well by Westminster. Set, just returned. Diving Raychard gets it over the net. Great teamwork for CMU in this sequence. Herkenrother up over. Schlemmer, Yan, and they can't push it over this time. Just not enough on it from Laura Raychard.
Well, I think the teamwork is there, but I think that it's coming after some miscommunication. It just seems like some Tartans are colliding with each other. They're unsure as who wants to hit the ball. They're able to save themselves, but cost them a point.
Raychard deflecting it off a couple of players in the front line. It's a kill and another point for CMU.
Well, Ariana Rosario, the senior, coming in for the first time.
Abby Chen serving. Service error, out of bounds. Close one here at set 2, 13-11 for Daniels. Set and driven. Man, that was some speed from Rosario, but handled well by the back line of Westminster. Big kill, front line, lights out. Saley Grinnan.
Yeah, that was not well hit over the net. May or may not have gone over, it looked like at first. And a powerful slam and kill for Grinnan.
Raychard dug out well. Yan. And a point for Westminster. We're tied up on the double hit.
Well, you have some reserves coming in now for Carnegie Mellon, maybe not as used to one another. And we're seeing some errors and some good play here from Westminster, turning defense into offense.
All tied at 13. Rosario pushes it back up. Just tipped over by Yan. Daniels and Chen back and forth. Schlemmer. Left hook handled well. She dives to keep it alive. It is returned. Tough battle here. Raychard, a laser. And the point to the Tartans, deflected off of Duffy.
Yeah, and Raychard able to get him back with a much-needed point as Westminster looked like they were gaining a lot of momentum.
Up 14-13, it's Stella Yan. Back line there. Daniel sets it up for a teammate. Returned well. Westminster will tie it back up. Hit off of a couple of CMU players out of bounds. Raychard, Schlemmer, Daniels there, and her dig out goes all the way across the net. Big team block, Rosario and company, but it was handled by Westminster. And this will fall for the kill. Give it to Rosario. 15-14 advantage, and Raychard back to serve. Miss hit, ace for Laura Raychard.
Yeah, that one looked like it was potentially going out, but it was defended by Lampus, and I think she might have second-guessed herself as to whether or not she wanted to hit it. That's why she didn't get enough on it.
Once again, back-to-back aces as it's unreturnable this time.
Well, we've seen Westminster save it after it's been hit in the net before, and unable to do it there.
Raychard again. Dug out, Daniels, front line, pushed over, point falls for Westminster's Ava Feringer.
Yeah, Raychard not in the right position there. She takes blame for that one. That was a pretty easy finish there for the Titans.
2-point advantage for CMU. Westminster serve. Shashia, Yan, big drive off the hands of Elizabeth Schlemmer. And the kill.
Are you kidding me?
That had some velocity.
Yeah, you couldn't pay me enough to stand in front of that.
Good thing that went low and didn't hit anybody in the head.
Right. Wow.
My goodness. Shepard serving. Daniels. Left on a platter, dug out by Raychard. Herkenrother and company. Shashia. Back to Raychard. Duffy in the back line. Daniels. Pushed into the net. No return. Westminster point. And a timeout? No, just substitution.
Shelby Rambo, who recently checked in for the Titans, making some noise there at the net.
Chen and company able to turn this one into a point, including Herkenrother. 3-point lead, 19-16. And Schlemmer to the front line. Good team block leads to a point. Shashia and Herkenrother timing up for another one, and a timeout taken by Westminster.
And a lot of sports going on today. We have a soccer match happening right now, along with a football game, along with volleyball here at home. Football's away at Teal. Last time we checked, they were up. They were winning, and they were shorthanded. Had some injuries, did Carnegie Mellon, especially in the backfield.
Back underway here in set two. A 20-16 turns into a 21-16 advantage on the ace for Elizabeth Schlemmer, who has really stood out in this contest.
She has all season long, leading the team in kills as a freshman.
Schlemmer serving. Front line, dug out from Shashia. Yan, the dump that was lengthy. And this laser beam will fall for a Westminster point off of Natalie Frank's hand. Junior out of Uniontown High School, patrolling the front line for Westminster. Off speed, handled by Schlemmer. Dug out by the Titans, and the dump is not going to be handled. Point for Westminster.
Yeah, Schlemmer tried to dive out for that one, couldn't get enough on it.
21-18 advantage for CMU. Schlemmer to Yan, over to Shashia, her drive, handled. Shashia, another blast. Duffy diving, keeping it going. Quick dump. Westminster was there to return. Schlemmer, a laser, and the kill.
Man, they set that up beautifully, and a better finish there by Schlemmer, and we have another timeout taken. The 30-year vet at head coach for the Titans, unhappy here with her squad. Sure, she's not used to the struggles here for her team, but I think she would have to be pleased, all things considered, with this second set, as Westminster has battled hard.
Tammy Schweringen, a 30-year veteran here. You mentioned that. 648 and 354 overall record with Westminster. 7-time President's Athletic Conference Coach of the Year, including last year where they ended up winning the PAC championship. They've won plenty. If you look back to it, they are responsible for titles in 02, 07, 08, 2019, the 2020, 2021, what do you want to call it, a augmented season because of COVID, and then in 2021, the fall. So the spring and then fall season.
Spring and fall, right? Yep. Yeah, we just want to forget about those years, right?
Well, I can remember we did the PAC women's soccer championship in the spring that year up at Grove City. It was a very windy day.
Yes, it was.
And Chatham ended up winning that one in a very close match against the Wolverines.
Yeah, and I feel bad for the sports information directors. I mean, they had to run around like chickens with their heads cut off trying to get all those sports in.
Yeah, if you remember that day, football was still playing because they had a spring season. Baseball was in action at the time. So it was not easy for Division III athletic staffs by any means. Point here for Westminster.
And that goes for, all of these associations, conferences, leagues, whatever. I mean, they were all going through that, trying to get it in. You got to commend them for getting it in, though. These athletes need to play, and that was what was the most important thing.
So in return from Schlemmer. Big block. Herkenrother there. And this unreturnable off the hands of Rachel Brady. 23-19. Not the code for Monsters, Inc.
I see what you did there. Good reference. Did you just watch that recently? Is that where that's, you just know that?
I just know that.
Stashed.
That is bled into my brain. Drive from Schlemmer. Can't handle it. Westminster point brings it within 3, 23-20. Rihanna Daniels, the junior setter, serving. Yan, far side. Big wheel from Catherine Jackson. The freshman outside hitter out of Davie, Florida.
And she saw some action in the Marietta contest that I broadcasted yesterday, and she was great when she came in off the bench. Another very talented freshman. This team is loaded for years to come.
CMU trying to win the second set here. Yan leaves it for Chen. Shashia, the drive, too far. Westminster point.
I think that might have been the easiest one for them to pinpoint, was a little bit too far. So would you say? I think everything else was relatively close.
Yeah.
That one definitely too far.
Rachel Brady to serve for Westminster. Service error ends the second set, 25-21. CMU with a 2-0 lead. All smiles for the Tartans so far, as they have yet to lose a set over this 2-day Carnegie Mellon quad. Important to mention, CMU is heading to, they're actually hosting the next UAA round robin. It's UAA round robin number 2, and that's their next matchup. Next Sunday, they have matches against Emory and Rochester, and you will be able to watch those live right here on the Carnegie Mellon Athletics website. Westminster, they head back into President's Athletic Conference play, a matchup Tuesday night against Allegheny College up in Meadville on the road.
And Allegheny, a new addition to the President's Athletic Conference this year.
After this is their second stint with the organization.
Yeah.
Originally were a President's Athletic Conference school. So took some time in another conference, and they are back. So they're glad to be back.
Yeah, they're really excited to join the PAC. I mean, we see a lot of movement. And the reason why we do talk about PAC is that Carnegie Mellon is in the President's Athletic Conference for football. And it seems like, from an outsider's perspective, we do cover a lot of the PAC schools. But when you take a look at women's volleyball particularly, I mean, there's just such a large separation between UAA, I know we mentioned it earlier, and PAC. And nothing against the PAC. They've had some very talented teams, some teams that have been within, the top in the country, especially this team last year that we saw from Westminster, extremely talented. But it's these programs here in the UAA that you watch them and you see a noticeable difference.
2-0 lead for Carnegie Mellon. They'd love to finish it off with a three-peat sweep in the CMU quad after victories over Marietta yesterday and Grove City this morning. A lot of volleyball in a 24-hour span.
Yeah, and I'm sure these women are going to be excited to, after this is all said and done, if Carnegie Mellon can come away victorious, obviously that would make this whole weekend feel a lot better. Certainly we have a lot more volleyball to play, but going into this week, having played a lot, that's going to be nice to rest with the victory and knowing that you weren't beating a set either if it were to happen for Carnegie Mellon here in this third. But this team, I mean, they've really rallied behind each other. They've had that stamina throughout. They were able to fight back in some close sets, especially against Marietta. And it really is turning into a fun team to watch.
Giving them a little bit of momentum heading into the UAA round robin number 2, which will happen right here at the Wiegand Gymnasium next Sunday. Both teams back out onto the floor, and we are ready to go for set 3 action from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. CMU will serve with a 2-0 lead. Never mind. Ball goes over to the other side. Westminster will serve.
They got you.
It'll be Rihanna Daniels. Dug out. Handled. Far side. Point the kill for Catherine Jackson.
Yeah, she has some power. That one was just out-muscled the defender. Almost caught the defender off guard.
Stella Yan back to serve with a 1-0 lead. Back line. Daniels up front. Blasted down. The kill. Successful for Saley Grinnan. All tied at 1. Rachel Brady, service error.
And these are some of the things that you need to avoid, the self-inflicted wounds through Westminster. That's why there's a change here with the substitution.
It's Kenna Tatum, the Carnegie Mellon graduate, into the game. Service error for CMU's Catherine Jackson ties us back to 2.
You know a thing or two about Carnegie Mellon.
Yeah, maybe. I know they went under a uniform, or I should say logo rebrand that was not handled well by a lot of Carnegie Mellon alumni and residents in the area recently. There's Tatum. Big blast too hard from Herkenrother.
Carnegie Mellon.
That Sierra.
I believe they got the win last night, right, against South Fayette, one of the local teams here in WPIAL. I know that they were competing. I think they were winning at one point. Carnegie Mellon, obviously, where Jared Bart went to high school.
Yes. Proud class of 2013 member. All tied at 3. Back here in Pittsburgh. Isabel Shepard to serve. A little bit of danger move in front of the net. CMU escapes. And this too far off the hands of Olivia Devereaux, the senior, her first action of the afternoon.
And she knew right when she hit it that one was going to sail.
4-3 Westminster here in the third set. Woodard. Duffy digs. Sent back over. Chen to Yan. Devereaux hits at an odd angle. Duffy there to dig. Tatum. Diving move from Yan. Unsuccessful. 5-3 Westminster. And an eruption from the crowd.
Yeah, their bench is fired up. Westminster faithful who made the trip, they're fired up. Back-to-back points and an early lead.
Dig from Devereaux. Quickly smacked down from Jane Dean. Getting CMU back into this. Just a 1-point deficit at 5-4. And here's Mindy Lai, the junior defensive specialist and setter. Duffy. Far side team block in front. Whistle errant. Point to CMU after a net violation. All tied at 5. Dig handled from Tatum. One too many hits.
Well, I saw that one. Just in case you were wondering.
I trust you, Rob.
All right. I don't always catch that. I think my eyes are getting bad in my old age.
Yeah, that very old age of your late 20s. Big kill, far side, Jane Dean. We're tied at 6.
I'm not kidding though, my eyes aren't good. I mean, look at these glasses here, the prescription.
I've got contacts.
They're thick.
Pancake dig, but not handled. Good idea for Mindy Lai.
Yeah, well executed. Yeah, well executed dig. The teammates couldn't come and bail her out there, but well done by Lai.
7-6 Westminster lead. How about 8-6 on the ace for Duffy and company? We mentioned Duffy out of North Allegheny High School. 3 straight PIAA titles with the Tigers and was a first-team all-section and conference player, second-team all-WPIAL player her senior season. This one mishandled in the front of the net off the hands of Angie Nardone.
And that was Dean who got them the point, and she's subbed out for, and Sierra will come in.
Service error from Abby Chen extends the Westminster lead back to 2, 9-7. Daniels serving, back line. It's Mindy Lai to Yan, and this one unreturnable off of the hands of the Titans, out of bounds. Still a 1-point advantage for Westminster. Big dig from Chen. Yan tipped over from Jackson. Chen to Yan. Back to Jackson. Pushed over. Chen. Woodard, far side. Dug out. Duffy. Devereaux saves it. Jackson blasted into the net. Need a return. Got it. Off Daniels' hand. They're tied at 9.
Well, Woodard and Schlemmer are both left-handed. And when they're both on the court, it does confuse the defense, a little bit, at least from what it appears up here. But you have Jackson has a super strong right hand. You saw her finish there. But Woodard and Schlemmer, you don't see a lot of that.
Big drive, dug out from Chen. Yan, the front of the net. Jackson, Duffy digs, saved and kept moving from Westminster. Woodard, far side, her drive, dug out. Daniels sets it up for a teammate. Brady on the far side, the kill falls. 10-9 Westminster. Substitution as Kenna Tatum re-enters the contest. Once again getting the cheers from the crowd. She's in to serve. Dig from Devereaux. Woodard. Miss hit off the net. And the point goes to Westminster. Up by 2, 11-9. Tatum. Dig from Jackson. Woodard. Off Duffy's hands and way too far out of bounds. Back into this game to CMU, down by 1. And Jackson will serve. Tatum and Duffy combined dig. Yan leaves it for Woodard. Off Duffy's hands. Tatum couldn't return it. Diving Titans. Didn't have enough to get it over the net. We're tied at 11.
Yeah, I got to give them credit. A lot of effort there. Just couldn't seem to get enough on it from a few different ladies trying to get that one set up for their team.
Jackson serving. Tatum digs. Duffy there as well. Front line. Jackson mishit. Westminster back to a 1-point lead. This one could go back and forth down the stretch here in set 3. We'll see what happens.
Keep in mind, we haven't seen Schlemmer at all.
Saley Grinnan serving. Back line, it's Chen. Up to Yan. She leaves it for Devereaux. Miss hit from Daniels. We're tied at 12. Jane Dean checking back into the game, as is Isabel Shepard. And she'll serve. 12 apiece in set 3. Dig from the back line, Daniels, and a quick tip, Devereaux there to dig and continue the sequence. And she'll catch the line in the corner. Olivia Devereaux with a beautiful hit.
Yeah, that one was close right there in the line. It was pretty, right where nobody was, just snuck it in there. Might have just clipped the line. It was enough to get the point.
13-12 CMU. And an ace for Isabel Shepard. 2-point advantage, 14-12.
And now kind of running on a little bit of a momentum stride here is Carnegie Mellon. 3 unanswered.
Tatum handles in the back line. Daniels up front. Big team block in front for CMU, but it's handled. Dean to Yan. Devereaux, dug out. That's going to be one too many hits.
I saw that one too. Just so you know.
I never doubted you. 14-13, CMU, the 1-point lead. Serving now, Angie Nardone for Westminster. Keeping this close in set 3. Back line, it was Jackson. Yan. Big drive. Jackson, the kill. Back to a 2-point advantage. And Mindy Lai will serve. Dug out for Tatum. Battle in front. Net violation. Westminster, 16-13 advantage. CMU. And a timeout taken by Coach Swearingen. She'll regroup with a 3-point deficit. 16-13. CMU lead in set 3. They're also up 2-0. They'd love to finish it off in 3 and have the clean sweep of 9 straight sets. 3 against Marietta yesterday, 3 earlier today against Grove City, and could get 3 here potentially against Westminster. Glad to have you along on the athletics website for Carnegie Mellon. Rob McKinney and Jared Barton with you. Rob, you had the Marietta contest solo.
Yep.
Bob Orquist, Jack Ridenauer in for the early matchup against Grove City. Club from Jane Dean will fall for the kill. 17-13. Tartans now in command by 4. Mindy Lai serving. Dug out. Shoveled along. Devereaux, the dig. Yan back to Devereaux. Point to CMU on a double hit.
Well, you mentioned Marietta. You want to know a fun fact about Marietta?
Let's hear it.
It's the oldest established town in Ohio, established in the 1780s.
No wonder their mascot is the Pioneers.
Mm-hmm. I know that for a couple reasons. One, I looked it up. And 2, I have family that lives there. My mom's from there.
A couple of kids I went to high school with, as we have a service error from Mindy Lai, went to Marietta.
Beautiful town. Have you ever been?
I have.
It's older.
Just
but
one time.
It's pretty. It's
been a long time since I've been there.
A lot of rich history.
Back here, a 19-14 advantage. How about 20-14 off the kill from the front line at CMU? Looking to make quick work here of Westminster. Olivia Devereaux will serve, although we do get some substitutions. Elizabeth Schlemmer back into the game. And entering for the first time, Molly Nakparat, number 17. Devereaux waiting for the whistle. 6-point advantage. Too far, service error. And it's Duffy. Backline Chen. Nakparad working with Dean. It's a no-go.
Yeah, some miscommunication at the net. They're a little frustrated there. They want to put this one away.
Duffy serving. Dig from Devereaux. Nakparat to Jackson. Chen there, saving dig. Devereaux, unreturnable. Kill for her, 21-16. And Isabella Sierra back into the contest. It's Abby Chen. Ace. Make it 22-16. And a timeout taken. How about a 35-6 victory for the football team? They remain undefeated here at CMU. Service error from Chen. 22-17. And Daniels will return to serve. Chen digs. Tip sent to no man's land. Isabella Sierra. And Molly Nakparat working together to make that happen. Elizabeth Schlemmer late in this contest. up 23-17. Daniels, dug by Chen. Nakparat leaves it for Devereaux. Her laser handled by Daniels. Duffy into the net, down, and this is match point. 24-17. It's on the hands of Schlemmer to get the job done. Dig from Duffy. Sent back down. The point from Jackson on the block, and it's all over here. 3-0 victory for Carnegie Mellon over Westminster. They are able to sweep every opponent in the CMU quad. 3-0 against Marietta yesterday. 3-0 against Grove City this morning. And 3-0 against Westminster this afternoon. Clean sweep, Rob. You saw 2 out of the 3 matches. What did you like from CMU?
I liked almost everything. And we talked about the match against Marietta, had that close second set. First 2 went their way, had a lot of success against Grove City, and now here against Westminster. You're going to build a lot off this. I know it's not in conference play, once against one game against an OAC opponent, then 2 PAC opponents. But you're going to build off this. Strong wins, especially coming in this fashion, not losing a set. It's going to carry nicely into next week against conference play.
Again, Carnegie Mellon Volleyball will be hosting the next tournament that they're a part of, and that just so happens to be their next action as well. So we head to the schedule page. They improved to 10-3 overall. And they'll face off against Emory at 1 o'clock Sunday afternoon in the UAA round robin number 2. They'll also face Rochester at 3 o'clock, so 2 hours later that same day, before a Friday night matchup at Muskingum on October 7th. And then it's UAA round robin number 3, but this one being held in Rochester, New York. They'll face off against Case Western and Chicago in what will be 2 very important matches in UAA conference play. Back here again, the sets 25-13, 25-21, and 25-17. Carnegie Mellon winning all 3 to improve their overall record to 10-3. Any final thoughts before we wrap this one up, Rob?
They had the 2-game losing streak to UAA-FO, WashU, and NYU, and then they came in wanting to build, grow into that next conference play. It's exactly what they did this weekend. A lot of volleyball. They were pretty much perfect, and we saw some exciting sets, and we can really see what this team is going to be moving forward the rest of this year based on what we saw this weekend.
Clean sweep for the weekend in the Carnegie Mellon quad for CMU volleyball. And we'll catch you next time here on the Carnegie Mellon Athletics website. For Rob McKinney, I'm Jared Barton. Say have a great rest of your weekend, folks, and we'll see you then.